Hola,
Hola.
how's it going?
I'm going great. How are you?
Um, yeah,
How was your big day yesterday?
what was my big day? Oh yeah,
Two interviews?
damn, I was on fire. I had all the answers in the world, and I was so convincing, and everything just flowed.
Yeah, you're in the zone.
Yeah, I was in the zone. I think, although I'm still stressed. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Hold on, using this. Shameless promotion.
Oh,
Focus. Okay, good camera. I love this.
what is that? Oh, rescue
Uh,
remedies for like sore
it's a
throat.
herbal supposed to help you with stress. It used to work for me.
Oh yeah.
Not anymore. It doesn't seem like it.
Does it say in brackets there placebo?
Huh? Anyway, so yeah, so Natalie's joking, saying, so okay, so if you have multiple job offers, are you going to accept all of them? I said, as long as it's remote, why not?
That is the scam of the 21st century.
Dude, think about it. I get the Metro gig.
Yeah.
I'll basically farm everything out to you.
There you go.
And when they introduce me to the TV, you just show up on camera. They will not know the difference.
I'll have to practice my accent.
Yeah, and then the only time I show up is when I have to talk to the manager. It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the people's like, wait, he looks different.
We could probably even do it so it's like we have enough footage of you. It could be actually your image with just like my lips superimposed.
That's right. That's right. We can do that. But I thought about that. Why not run that scam?
That's funny. I got to believe that's happening.
Yeah, yeah. I've reached out yesterday when we talked about. Actually, you're right. Sorry. What you said made me like it's almost like infected my thinking process. I had this line of what I was going to say, and then it kind of interrupted that. I'm sure it's happening because there are some organizations that are very flexible with whether you show up on camera or not.
Yeah.
And then you'll never know.
Yeah.
But then, for example, this RBC gig, it's 100% remote.
Yeah.
So there's no need for me to come into the office. And yeah, you have to be on camera. But everything else, how would they know?
Yeah.
But anyway, so the director of merchandising, so it's, I mean, you, me, we can do that job with your eyes closed.
Yeah. Was that one of the calls yesterday?
That was one of the calls, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think that that's going to go anywhere, and not for the fact that I'll have to tell them that I have a standing offer. It's just we had a good chat, we had a good conversation.
Yeah.
So that's,
yeah.
You know what the price? I told you what they're paying, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's when a company wants a lot of experience and a lot of responsibility, but is not willing to pay for it. I understand why that guy got it, and he is now a VP. So it was just like a transition, just like one step. Like, look, you have to have it. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of you. Yeah, but that's not going to happen here. And with everyone who's promising, oh yeah, well, there's going to be a promotion. Like, honestly, unless I have it on paper, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't believe you because there's so many things that change.
Yeah.
A person who promised you this might leave or be replaced, and then what?
Or be forced to leave, or
yeah. So that was one. The other one was an interesting. It's an online gaming company which specializes in casinos, but not for money, but for raffles. And they've been growing dramatically, maybe spurred by the pandemic because people have nothing better to do. They just like they have almost, if I understood correct, almost $1 million. Yeah, almost $1 million in revenue. And
how's that work? Like you said, not for money, but for raffles. But there's obviously money being exchanged.
Well, yeah, I mean, there prizes, but they don't have to register as a casino,
I see.
at least not immediately. But this was a pre-screening call, so this was not with the company. I think this was with an agency, so
Right.
it's neither here nor there. Yeah, so that's
And no word back from your reference thing.
not yet. No, not yet. I did hear from my boss, my future boss, yesterday. I suppose like we should touch base on next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, so next Tuesday it is. I'm supposed to get computer and a phone, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah. Maybe I mean that's probably a good sign. I mean, I remember being in RBC and trying to bring somebody on board, and the references just took forever.
Yeah.
This gentleman was fresh off the boat, and it's just I was just like, look, what's happening? I need a person to start, and I can't have them start because all of this is taking. Anyhow. So yeah,
For some reason they forget the do part of the due diligence. Like, let's go.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, so that was the highlight of my day. How was your day yesterday?
Pretty good. I spent a lot of the day on Glide, and I think I finally cracked the code, so to speak. Like, I think the thing that was stumping me is that everything I've ever used, the tables and the queries are like separate things. But in Glide, the queries are part of the tables.
Queries being what?
Well, like if you want, so I'm collecting orders, and then there's various stages. So it's like, okay, the order's collected. Now the order has to be moved into production.
Yep.
Then you have to, you know, how much has been produced. Then it has to go from being produced to being shipped to being received to then communicating to the customer and then being picked up. Like there's all these stages, right? So I've had to create within my order details table. I had to create columns for each one of those steps to be checked off when it's completed. And then also an input field to put the number. So if you moved, the order was for 50 and you moved it to production, well, maybe you only had 40 in stock, so you can only produce 40 of them. So you got to be able to enter that and know it, kind of thing. Anyway, so all these roll-ups are in, like all these fields are in that table. And then when you want to do a roll-up in the items table, I had to create roll-up columns that says, okay, this is a roll-up of the quantity produced under the condition that the has been produced button is true. And the number shipped is if this field is true or false, and so on. Like it's all these statements, right? So it's like, but like you're not building like an Access, you would create a separate query that referenced tables.
Yes.
Here you're rolling, like you're
doing it in the cells.
Like it's just a much different way to wrap your head around it. And then I'm ending up with these tables that are like friggin' 30 columns wide.
Yeah. And you're using glide tables, right?
Yeah.
Because this is where they still fall behind sheets. Because in sheets, remember when I showed you that thing when you write a formula at the very top and it populates across the tables?
Yeah.
But you don't need to give it the exact parameters of how deep the table is, how many rows the table is.
Yeah.
You can't do that in Glide.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that they'll have to improve.
Yeah. And it's funny because there's like, I don't know why, but like I have the Boolean field, like true or false.
Yep.
And I'm like, you take this amount if that field is false and it's not working. But if I change it to is not true, then it works. And I'm like, I don't understand why. Like it's the same thing, like is false and is not true. They both should return the same thing. But for some reason it wasn't. So
okay.
It's strange that way. It's almost like it's not false, it's just blank or null. I don't know. Anyway, so I've had to figure some of that stuff out, and then I've had to create, I guess, tabs that aren't visible as tabs, but they're just other screens, and then creating buttons to navigate to them. And the other thing that was confusing me is every time you create something, and then you can go into the details, like it defaults to whatever their default is, which picks up like your first table and pre-populates stuff. So then you have to configure it. Anyway, it's easy to get lost in terms of like where you are, and then it's not easy to undo things. Like even though they have an undo button now, like I'll give you an example. So you can create those actions where you go into that action screen, create the steps. As soon as you hit save though, and save that action, it's not undoable.
No,
it's saved. But you can't reuse those actions either, like in a different screen. You have to build it. Each one of them's unique to each screen. So there's some minor things like that I'm kind of.
Well, it's great that you're going through the same challenges that I went through. That's why. Remember when I told you the first time we came up with the Trello board?
Yeah.
That's what's driving me crazy as well, is because you're creating all of these steps. Like you said, they're not reusable. So you have to remember everywhere where you set visibility setting, an action setting. So every single button needs to be attended to. That's why I agree with you. Like the formulas, if you could, because when you write them outside of the table, you can address that formula and you know that's going to be applied. But here you need to make sure that everywhere you used it is correct.
Yeah.
Like I found out yesterday that I did a huge, massive screw up for Natalie in my email automation. Because again, it automatically applied a certain function. I thought that was cool. So what it was is you send an email, you wait for 5 days, and for everyone who didn't open, you resend it again.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool. The problem is if you rename if you rename not the subject line, but if you rename the actual email as a function at the top, you don't change that name and that statement if. Guess what? I resend the same email to everyone. Fuck, it seems so simple in retrospect. And I know I've checked that function. I was like, yeah, because the first one was called stress and immunity. And the one that actually went out is talking about stress and immunity. And so I looked at stress and immunity. Yeah, it's fine. I said, fuck. I'm sure YouTube is going to flag this.
Sorry, it's not for children.
Yeah, it's not for children. Yeah, you can just go ahead and go beep 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 beep. No, it doesn't matter. But it was very disappointing. It's just that this is a perfect example of human error.
Yeah. Well, it's funny yesterday because I created a screen, and then I realized, okay, well, there's 5 stores. One store is the production store, and the other 4 stores are only going to be sending orders. So I was changing the visibility of the production related screens to only be visible if you're logged in as that store. But then I had copied that, created a duplicate of a screen, because I could just, instead of recreating, I can create a duplicate for like the shipping screen, and then change it to the receiving screen and just change a few things, and I don't have to rebuild the whole thing. But then I wasn't showing up, and then I had to realize, oh yeah, because I copied it after I put the permissions on it, so the permissions are copied over as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So all that kind of stuff. And then I was trying to test it on my old iPad, and it won't work on my old iPad.
Why not?
I guess it's at a date. This old iPad. Well, I bought the iPad refurbished 3 years ago, so it's probably 5 years old. But it's like iOS 9.3 or something. So when I try to go to the glide link on the iPad, it says content not available, or I don't know, something. Anyway, which may or may not be a problem, because Joanne wanted to know. She has some older iPads. I don't know if they're as old as this thing, but I'm gonna have to do some testing on that before.
Oh, damn it. Hardware compatibility is the worst.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was looking online, like, what do you do with an old iPad? And there's all these suggestions for like dash cam and photo album thing. I don't know, whatever. But it's like, it says the average iPad is only lasts for, I think it was 3.4 years or something is the expected life expectancy. I just imagine like how many iPad. It's funny too because of tablet wise, like I've got a BlackBerry. I forget even what they called it. The BlackBerry tablet when it came out. It's a boat anchor now. I've got a Microsoft Surface, which is like one of the original Microsoft Surfaces that's useless. And I bought this iPad the reason I bought this iPad is 3 years ago when we went to Mexico.
Yeah.
To Puerto Vallarta. The previous trip I went on, I tried my Surface, but the Surface wasn't compatible with the app for WestJet. So I couldn't watch the WestJet entertainment system on my Microsoft Surface.
What? Really?
Yeah. So then I bought this iPad so I could download the app so I could watch stuff on the flight.
Oh my God. You bought an iPad? Oh.
Well, it was like $150 or $170 or something, but it actually turned out good because the first day in Puerto Vallarta, I got so badly sunburned the next day I had to spend the whole day in the lobby of the hotel, and I just downloaded a bunch of stuff on Netflix and watched like hours and hours of Netflix on my iPad.
Oh shit.
Like I literally spent 2 hours in the sun the first day we got there, and the front of my right leg, lower leg, it was like 3rd-degree burns, like bad burn. Anyway, this morning I had my last call with my store managers. So it was great. I feel great. We went around the room and asked like, what was the thing you take away from the course? And everyone kind of had a slightly different take on things, like what their favorite piece was, which was great because it just meant that like lots of different parts resonated with different people. So I feel really, really good about the whole course. It was good. They all seemed to enjoy it. The one lady said, because there's one of the things we talked about was on like there was a paradigm early in the course about don't take it personally, and it was about like customer interactions. And when customers come in, and it's like it might be the 1,000th time that somebody's asked you the same question today, but for that customer it's only the first time they've asked it, so you can't treat them like they're this 1,000th person. For them it's only their first time, so you can't take things personally. Anyway, the example she gave was they've had their Christmas stuff out for months, but now everyone's like, oh, you got Christmas already? You got Christmas already? And she goes like, by the end of the day, you want to punch them in the face that it's like, because it's like the 100th person today that says like, it's Christmas already. So she goes like, she literally said like, I envision you in the back of my head just saying, don't take it personally.
That's, well, you know what, if that's not a testimonial, that's, I don't know what is.
Yeah. So it's good. So so now I'm my Wednesday mornings are free again.
Great.
I also gave them the tip in Kajabi. I've been watching a lot of my stuff back at double speed, which is funny when I have the background music, because then it's just kind of even more comical. It's like Benny Hill kind of sounding, but so it's a good little trick for getting through stuff faster. It's watching at double speed.
I'm sorry. I'm doing. I just discovered that some of the stuff that I thought that went out actually has not actually gone out, and that bothers me. It's
funny too. Last night I had my call with my coaching and mentoring for leaders student, and I ended up getting a couple new ideas for content, which I thought was kind of a good outcome.
And what were they?
Well, one was something I've already kind of written an article about, which I'm going to repurpose for this part of the module. But it's when you're doing brainstorming and stuff. Like I have an article called I forget what it's called exactly, but it's something like don't do brainstorming, do brain calming, because it's picking up on the notion that all your best ideas come when you're not grinding away trying to think about them. So it's like, how do you facilitate that? If you're trying to get ideas with your team, you should make time to have like an initial kind of session of what you're trying to accomplish, and then let people go away and kind of subconsciously think about it, and and then come back a day or two later and collect everyone's ideas because just sitting in a room full of people, you're not going to get, you might get some good ideas, but you're not going to get the best ideas, because that's not how good ideas are generated. So there's that part. And then the other part was, so this is module 2 on this course is, so the model is impact yourself, impact your team, impact your business. So on impact your team, another part is going to be succession planning, right? Like, so like if you have the ambition to move beyond your role, one key part of that generally is who's going to take over for you. So how do you deliberately groom the next person on your team to be your replacement?
Yeah, that's true.
So that's another part of the module I'm gonna write out.
So what's next with, because this has been, it sounds like it's been a success. How are you going to scale this? How do you plan to scale this?
Yeah, well, I've asked Joanne for a testimonial, so that's the starting point. And then she said she's going to do something to communicate out to people she knows, other Hallmark owners or small businesses. I'm not sure what to expect out of that, but that's something. And then I've got a lot of contacts in LinkedIn of people who are either small business owners or connected with retail in some way, shape, or form. So I'm going to direct message all of those folks. There's a guy that used to work at Loyalty One. I forget his last name now, John, that I met when we did the Loyalty One extravaganza. And then he was on the President's Circle Award when we went to Nashville. But he's left Loyalty One and he's now a franchisee for Canadian Tire.
Oh, wow, that would be
so I'm going to see if he's interested for his particular store. But because if you can get one store, then and it pans out, then it opens up the opportunity for a lot of stores.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already fallen into the trap, which we've both been in before, where it's like, okay, hey, if I got, Dollarama and there's 1,000 stores and there's 2 managers per store at $500 a person, that's like cha-ching, cha-ching. And then I'm like, okay, slow your roll, buddy. Like,
that's good advice. That's good advice.
But it just shows you like there is a like the big takeaway for me, I guess, is I'm considering this go around as like the proof of concept. Like this course works. It added value. The people all seem to enjoy it. They all got something out of it.
Yep.
It's positively impacting their business. I mean, there's other takeaways. Like one I learned. So I had a bonus module at the end on time management. From now on, that's going to be module 1, because what you learn in that module would actually benefit them going through the rest of the module. So the way, and I'm finding this with my other course too, that I only have one student on, but it's like the cadence that I'd set up was like, okay, you sign up for the course and it starts on Monday. And then the following Tuesday is the first call, which is supposed to review the perfect scenario, which I try to explain in the course material, is you do module 1 and then you implement and do the exercise for the course of the week. And then we have the call to take it up. And then for the in between the week in between the call, you're supposed to immediately kind of do the module and then use the whole week to experiment with the exercises. And that's how you get the most value out of it. What's actually happening, which is kind of human nature, is people are doing the module like the day before the call. So the call is supposed to be talking about your experience with the module through your exercises and experimentation, but people have literally just watched the module. They haven't done anything. So it's I I got to try and figure out a better way to.
Are you better off like signing up for the course and the first module, you actually take them through the module?
I don't know. I'm not sure what I haven't thought through the right way to do it. I mean, in both these scenarios, the way this is structured is there's the module and the phone call. I'm hoping to get some business where there is no phone call, even though I enjoy the group calls and stuff, and there's value there. But in terms of scalability, it would be great. I'm even thinking in terms of if I'm able to get some kind of a chain that has multiple stores, whereas I would do a weekly call maybe with their district managers or something, and then the district managers would do the call with their stores. So it's almost like a trainer kind of scenario. If that's, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit, obviously, but
I know. Get ahead of yourself.
I see that kind of playing out that way. Anyway, it's funny because if you think about these 5 Hallmark stores that I just worked with, there's a billion of these stores out there. Every friggin' plaza you drive by, all the challenges and issues and opportunities that these folks are facing, every single store and every single plaza. And you ran your store, even in your one-off store, same challenges, same opportunities, right? So I guess what I'm getting at is the opportunity is big.
That's undeniable. That's undeniable. I would agree with that. The opportunity is big. It's only a matter of being able to show not even an ROI, but more so the impact on the business. And I think Joanne's testimonials is definitely going to be one of those big assets in terms of selling this going forward.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm optimistic. I don't think anything's going to happen with the course necessarily between now and the end of the year, just because of this is crunch time at retail. Sending people on courses in October, November, December is kind of a no-no. But it's the kind of thing I want to approach it with people trying to line this up as a January thing for their business. So, if I can get, 3 to 5 businesses on board for January, it would be I'd be ecstatic.
Cool. That would be fantastic. Yeah, this is very interesting.
And I came across something on Kajabi that, and I don't know if it's new launch or new feature, but now they have password protected pages. So you can set up web pages that are only visible by people that can, however you manage the administration of that. So in other words, the limitation of some of the stuff that I've been doing in terms of the courses, I only have access to 15 products, but there's products that I can do on a page. I don't necessarily need the structure of the course, the way that the course feature works. You could put the videos on a web page and links to the downloadable materials, whatever. You just don't get maybe the same tracking, but there's different things that I can think of how to use that. So I'm going to explore some of that the next few days.
Yeah, I'm listening to you and I can't, this is what I do not know. I do not know sales, but it sounds to me that this is not how much are you charging for it per person?
This course, $4.99.
$4.99?
Yeah.
It's not exorbitant.
Yeah. So this course, it was $4.99 per person for the online course, and then it was $1,500 total for the 7 weeks of group calls, which is not
that's revenue, man. That's revenue.
Yeah. Yeah. So the total was $5,000 in this scenario. But yeah, and I've got on my site, if I think I said for groups of 10, more than 10, the price is negotiable. So, you know, if somebody's got 100 stores and they want to do, I don't know, whatever,
Yep.
I'm not gonna, you know, pinch pennies, or, you know, I don't want to devalue the thing either, but at the same time, like, you know, it's a volume business, right? So
Yeah, and your group calls can be as big as they need to be, to
yeah,
be honest.
well, even if it's a big group, like big groups like that with no calls, it's even better, right? Like, you just register people and you don't do it, like, it's all done.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the perfect scenario.
that is the perfect scenario. You're right. That is the best.
Yeah, like, I'm thinking of I got to do some research, but like, this is where the idea, like, cannabis stores is one, because like there's all these chains of cannabis stores, and I guarantee, because they're all so new, like, nobody's got a leadership program in place.
Have you been to a cannabis store?
No.
Well, that's your first problem. Go to a cannabis store, because I've shopped, and the way the shopping process works in a cannabis store is something you've never seen.
Yeah.
Like, there's a honey pot on Queen Street. You actually walk in.
Yeah.
You first get assigned a sales rep. There's a person with an iPad that walks up to you,
Yeah.
and helps you select.
Yeah.
There's no counter. There's no products that you can peruse yourself, but you need a salesperson to
Yeah.
guide you. So this is one example. I don't know how the other stores do it. So I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that the environment that I've experienced
Yeah.
is way different than any other retail environment that you and I are used to.
Yeah.
So check it out, because
Yeah.
it might be.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that makes the content of this course any less relevant, because it's still, you still have a manager who's managing employees who are interacting with customers.
Correct. It's just the interaction is even more in depth. So it makes your course even more valuable.
Yeah.
It's just no.
But then, like, there's a, you know, there's so many, I don't know, all you got to do is drive around your neighborhood for 10 minutes and you can come up with a huge list of of places where this could be applicable.
Yeah.
And I think the beauty of it is that the price point, even at $4.99 a person, it's not a huge investment for businesses. So I say that tongue in cheek. I mean, even $1 for some businesses is a huge investment, but I'm optimistic. I got to do the cheese, figure out the cheese, man.
Yeah. Still on the cat and mouse analogy.
Yeah.
Oh well, dude. I think that's a great. The fact that you completed one and you have like that feedback, that it can't come from any other place but just doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's Jamie always says, like, he encourages experimentation. He says, once you do something once, you basically prove that you can do it. You know, if you can do it once, you can do it 1,000 times. Like, there's nothing stopping you except you.
Yep.
The other thing that I found interesting, which I don't really have an explanation for it, but like at the beginning of each module, I have a little introduction video that basically is just me blabbing away for a few minutes, setting up the new module. And then it says, please take a minute to fill out our survey. And then there's a survey. So I've had 7 modules with 5 people each going through them. So I should have 35 completed surveys. I think I have less than 10. And so, like, people just aren't doing the survey, and it's not like it's a long time. It's like, it's literally 4 or 5 questions. Like, each survey is like, it describes emotional bank account concept was useful, strongly agree, indifferent, disagree, strongly disagree. Next question. So it's like 3 or 4 questions like that, and then the last question is, do you have any commentary on the module itself, like what you liked or didn't like, or suggestions for things that could be added or removed? So there's usually 3 or 4 agree, disagree type questions, and then the commentary question. But for the most part, people have not completed the assessments for some reason. which is I find interesting.
Human nature, I think. Human nature.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I know for me personally, since I did my customer service job, running the customer service department, where we relied heavily on people responding to surveys and things, I have like this overdeveloped sense of obligation to answer people's surveys. Like every Kajabi survey I get sent, I answer it. Car dealership, I answer it. Virtually Amazon. I've gotten better with it. Like, I don't know if you get a lot of things from Amazon, things you purchase, like, can you answer this question for another customer, or will you rate your experience? Probably 6 or 7 times out of 10, I do those. So like I said, I have an overdeveloped sense of obligation to complete things like that.
Yeah. And most people I know, and I'm speaking for myself, I can see how it's interesting when I write a course and I created that, I was expecting, yeah, everyone's going to jump in, and then if I do something, then I know how quickly it's like, yeah, skip it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Greg.
That's all right. I know, I mean, I was hoping to have 35 and I've got, whatever I said, less than 10, but I have more than 0.
Yep. Oh, 10 is not bad. Not bad at all.
So it's good. And I think I don't think I've ever had somebody say, most of the responses are either strongly agree or agree. I don't think anyone has said anything that's been in the course has been not useful. So I think that's good. All right, my friend.
All right, my friend. I will talk to you tomorrow, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. And
I noticed on your, I don't know if this was a typo or not, on your YouTube episode yesterday.
Yeah.
Your acronym was, instead of PT, it was PY. I don't know if you want to just look at your
PY. It's supposed to be PE. Thank you. Oh man, seriously?
Is it PY?
I am so bad with typos. I don't, and this only,
because mine, I was PE, post-election.
no, this is no, my is correct. It's just mine says POSI.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. That's
for
the Y.
Post-election stress disorder, PESD.
Yeah.
God, what is wrong with me? This has got really bad in the last year, and I have no clue as to why.
Getting old.
Maybe I'm losing control of my fingers here. Okay, dude. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.